Ambassador Elena Vasquez walked through the long metal hallway of Kepler Prime Station. Her black shoes made soft clicking sounds on the cold floor. Behind her, 3 other humans followed in silence. Their faces showed no fear, but Elena could feel the weight of what was coming. The Galactic Council had called this meeting. After 50 years of treating humans like children, they were finally ready to make their demands clear. Elena had read the early reports. She knew this would not be a normal diplomatic talk. The main council chamber was huge. 12 different alien species sat in a circle around a central platform. Each species had their own strange appearance. The Zephyrians looked like tall blue trees with silver leaves. The Corvan had thick gray skin and 4 arms. The crystalline beings sparkled like living diamonds. All of them stared at Elena as she entered. "Human Ambassador Vasquez," spoke the council leader, a creature that looked like a floating jellyfish with golden tentacles. Elena walked to the small platform in the center. She stood straight and waited. The other humans remained by the entrance. The chamber was so quiet Elena could hear her own breathing. "For 50 years," the council leader began, "humanity has been part of our galactic community. We have given you technology, trade routes, and protection. We have allowed you to build colonies on 12 worlds. We have been patient with your—" Elena said nothing. She had learned long ago that silence was often the best response when dealing with aliens who thought they were superior. "However," the leader continued, "recent events have shown us that humanity cannot be trusted to develop responsibly. Your species shows too much aggression. You build too many weapons. You refuse to follow our guidance." Around the circle, other council members nodded their agreement. A Corvan general with scars across his gray face leaned forward. "Human expansion has become dangerous. Your colonies grow too fast. Your population increases without control. You mine resources without permission." Elena still said nothing, but her jaw tightened slightly. The council leader raised one golden tentacle. "Therefore, the Galactic Council has decided to implement the final guidance protocol. These are not suggestions." A holographic display appeared above the platform. Elena read the words that appeared, each one hitting her like a punch to the stomach. "First," the leader announced, "all human military vessels larger than system defense craft must be surrendered to Council control within 90 days. The display showed images of Earth's fleet, destroyers, cruisers, and battleships that humans had built with their own hands and sweat. Second, humanity must accept genetic modification programs designed by our best scientists." Elena felt her heart beat faster. They wanted to change what made humans human. Third, 60% of Earth's current population must be relocated to designated colony worlds. These worlds will be under direct council supervision. Elena thought of her daughter on Earth, her grandchildren, billions of people who would be forced to leave their home. Fourth, all human worlds will accept permanent council observer teams. These observers will have authority over military, scientific, and industrial decisions. The display showed maps of human space. Red markers appeared on every human world, each one representing a council observer base. The council leader floated closer to Elena. "These measures are necessary for galactic peace and stability. Humanity has shown it cannot govern itself responsibly." Other council members spoke up. "Your species fights too much," said a crystalline being whose voice sounded like breaking glass. "You explore too aggressively," added a Zephyrian. "You reproduce without planning," declared a small furry creature with 6 legs. Elena listened to each criticism. 50 years of hidden resentment poured out of the alien representatives. They had never seen humans as equals. They had always planned this moment. "Furthermore," the leader continued, "any human world that refuses these requirements will be cut off from galactic trade, communication, and protection." The chamber fell silent. All 24 alien eyes stared at Elena, waiting for her response. They expected her to argue, to beg, to ask for compromises. That was what humans had always done before. Instead, Elena stood perfectly still for a long moment. She looked around the circle, meeting the gaze of each council member. Then she spoke in a calm, clear voice. The human delegation requires 72 hours to formulate our official response to these. The council leader's tentacles twitched in surprise. 72 hours? Ambassador, the urgency of this situation demands immediate acceptance. Elena picked up her datapad from the platform. Nevertheless, we require 72 hours. She turned and walked toward the exit. The other humans fell in step behind her, called the Corvin general. You understand the consequences of refusal? Your species will face complete isolation. Your colonies will be blockaded. Elena stopped at the chamber entrance. She looked back over her shoulder at the assembled aliens. I understand perfectly, she said. The 4 humans left the chamber. Behind them, the council members began talking excitedly among themselves. Some laughed. Others made what sounded like pleased humming noises. They think they have finally broken human stubbornness, one alien said. About time, replied another. In 72 hours, they will accept everything, declared a third. As Elena walked back to the human diplomatic ship, she activated her personal communicator. A single message went out on a frequency that only humans could access. On every human world, military commanders received the signal. In hidden bases across human space, secret projects began their final preparations. On Earth, the president called an emergency meeting of the War Council. The aliens thought they knew humanity. They thought 50 years of observation had shown them everything about human nature. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Elena smiled as her ship departed Kepler Prime. The aliens expected humanity to surrender. Instead, they were about to face something the galaxy had never seen before. Humans who had stopped pretending to be civilized. President Chen Wei stood in the secure conference room deep beneath Geneva. The room had no windows and thick metal walls. Around the long table sat the most important humans in the galaxy: military commanders, intelligence chiefs, colony governors, and industrial leaders. Phoenix Rising has been activated, Chen announced. Admiral Sarah Torres leaned forward. Her gray hair was pulled back tight and her dark eyes were hard. Mr. President, are we really doing this? The alternative is slavery, Chen replied. They want to change our genetics. They want to control our population. They want to occupy our worlds. That's not negotiation. General Marcus Rodriguez activated a holographic display. The display lit up with a map of human space. But this wasn't the map the aliens knew about. This map showed hidden bases, secret shipyards, and concealed industrial facilities on every human world. Operation Lighthouse began 30 years ago, Rodriguez explained. Colony Governor Lisa Chen raised her hand. They were, Rodriguez smiled. Plants that can be converted to weapon manufacturing facilities in 48 hours. Your agricultural domes contain automated defense systems. The display zoomed in on the asteroid fields between human systems. Thousands of small objects appeared, each one marked with a red dot. These are our hidden defense platforms, Rodriguez continued. The aliens think they're natural asteroids. Actually, each one contains enough firepower to destroy a capital ship. Admiral Torres stood up. Our merchant fleet has been mapping alien supply routes, communication networks, and defense installations for 50 years. We know where every important alien facility is located. We know their patrol schedules. Intelligence Director David Park activated another display. We've also been studying alien psychology and biology. Each species has predictable behavior patterns. They think logically and follow set procedures. Asked Governor Chen. They have thousands of ships. Admiral Torres smiled. That's what they think. The display changed to show ship production figures. The numbers were staggering. For every ship the aliens knew about, humans had built 3 more in hidden shipyards. "Our mining ships are actually mobile factories," Rodriguez explained. "They've been building automated warships throughout the outer systems. The aliens see slow, peaceful miners." President Chen activated his personal tablet. "Project Blackout is our most important weapon." Dr. Kim, a small woman with kind eyes and gray hair, looked nervous. The aliens just declared war on our entire species," Chen replied. Kim nodded and activated another display. "The Galactic Communication System relies on quantum entanglement networks. Every alien species uses the same basic technology," Admiral Torres asked. "Yes. Human consciousness operates on quantum frequencies that alien technology can't filter or block. We've developed neural interface systems that allow human operators to inject chaos directly into alien networks." The room fell silent. Finally, Governor Chen spoke. "More than that," Kim replied. "We can turn their own technology against them." General Rodriguez activated the final display. It showed a timeline stretching back 50 years. "This operation began the day humans first encountered the Galactic Council," he said. "Every diplomatic mission included intelligence gathering. Every trade negotiation mapped alien weaknesses." President Chen stood up. "The Council thinks they've cornered a weak species that depends on their protection. They're about to learn that humans don't ask for protection. We provide it. We don't follow rules." Dr. Kim looked worried. "Mr. President, if we do this, millions of aliens could die. Their supply chains will collapse. Their emergency services will fail. This isn't just military action." Chen replied. "They want to change our genetics. They want to scatter our population across the galaxy under alien control." "There's another consideration," Admiral Torres said. "Once we demonstrate these capabilities, every species in the galaxy will know that humans are the dominant military power." "Good," Chen said firmly. "For 50 years we've been the junior species. We've been grateful for scraps from the alien table. We've pretended to be weak and harmless." He looked around the table at each person. "In 60 hours, Ambassador Vasquez will return to Kepler Prime. She won't be carrying terms of surrender." Governor Chen asked. "The kind that makes it clear who really runs this galaxy now," President Chen replied. "Colonel Martinez, activate all sleeper agents. Admiral Torres, begin moving the hidden fleet to attack positions. Dr. "Sir," Colonel Martinez said quietly, "our agents are on every council home world. They've been building lives there for decades." "I know," Chen said, "but they volunteered for this mission knowing what might be required." The meeting continued for 6 more hours. Plans were reviewed, timetables confirmed, and contingencies discussed. By the end, every person in the room understood their role in what was coming. As the commanders prepared to leave, President Chen made one final announcement. "Ladies and gentlemen, in 72 hours, the galaxy will know that humanity is no longer asking for a place at the table." Admiral Torres paused at the door. "Mr. President, are you sure we're ready for this responsibility?" Chen smiled. "Sarah, humans have been preparing to lead for 50,000 years." Across human space, secret orders went out. Hidden bases activated. Sleeper agents checked their equipment. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when humans stopped pretending to be harmless. Exactly 72 hours later, Ambassador Elena Vasquez returned to Kepler Prime. This time, she walked into the council chamber like she owned it. Her 3 human companions followed behind her, each carrying a small silver briefcase. The council chamber was more crowded than before. Representatives from all 12 member species had come to witness humanity's surrender. Even non-council species had sent observers. Everyone wanted to see the moment when the troublesome humans finally accepted their place. "Ambassador Vasquez," The council leader's golden tentacles moved in what humans had learned was an expression of satisfaction. Elena walked to the central platform. She placed a single data crystal on the podium. The crystal was black with silver edges, and it seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "I bring humanity's official response," Elena said in a clear, calm voice. The council leader's tentacles stopped moving. That wasn't the response they expected. Around the circle, alien representatives shifted nervously in their seats. Asked the Corvan general. There was no decision to make. Elena smiled. It wasn't a pleasant smile. "That's where you're wrong, General. You've given us a choice between slavery and freedom." She activated the data crystal. A holographic display appeared above the platform, but the information wasn't what anyone expected. Instead of terms of surrender, the display showed detailed intelligence files. "For 50 years, Elena began, you've been watching us, learning about us, studying our weaknesses." The first file opened. It contained complete information about Corvan military bases, including classified defense plans and troop movements. "General Korthak," Elena said, looking directly at the Corvan representative. "Your secret base on Corvan Prime's third moon isn't as secret as you think." Korthak's gray skin turned darker. "How did you—" Elena opened the next file. "Counselor Zephrah of the Zephyrian Trade Union. Your people are supposed to maintain neutral trade policies, but you've been secretly funding the rebellion in the outer spiral." The tall blue Zephyrian's silver leaves rustled with agitation. "Those are lies!" Elena opened another file showing detailed financial records. "These are your actual accounts, the ones you keep on the hidden server in the Nebula Bank." Around the chamber, council members began talking nervously among themselves. Elena continued opening files. Each one revealed secrets that the aliens thought were safely hidden. Crystalline Collective Leader Shard 9. Your people claim to be peaceful philosophers, but you've been secretly developing biological weapons designed to target specific species. The Sacred Archive Keepers. Your religious texts forbid genetic manipulation. Trade Syndicate Director Quinn. Your monopoly on rare elements comes from destroying planets in uninhabited systems. With each revelation, the chamber grew quieter. Council members stared at their human information files with growing alarm. How had humans learned their deepest secrets? Elena paused and looked around the circle. "Should I continue? I have files on all of you. Every species, every government, every secret." The council leader floated closer to the platform. How is this possible?" "To each other, maybe," Elena replied. "But humans think differently. We don't follow your logical patterns." She activated the final part of the display. New information appeared, showing council military movements and alliance structures. "But intelligence gathering isn't why I'm here," Elena continued. The display changed to show a new document. The council members read the terms, and several of them made sounds of shock or anger. "Immediate cessation of all restrictions on human expansion and military development," Elena read aloud. "Full voting rights in the council equal to any other species regardless of age of membership," shouted the Corvan general. Elena ignored him and continued reading. "The right to establish human protectorates over any species that requests it." The chamber erupted in angry voices. Council members shouted in dozens of languages. The Corvan general stood up, his forearms gesturing wildly. "You cannot be serious!" Elena waited for the noise to die down. Then she spoke again, and her words cut through the chaos like a blade. The council leader's tentacles writhed in agitation. "And if we refuse? Your threats mean nothing. We command the largest fleet in galactic history," Elena asked. She activated her personal communicator. Operation Starfall. Around the galaxy, in 12 different star systems, something impossible happened. Council homeworld defense networks went offline simultaneously. Emergency broadcasts filled communication channels as orbital platforms lost power and life support systems failed. But the failures only lasted for 60 seconds. Then everything returned to normal. Elena smiled as emergency reports flooded into the council chamber. That was just a demonstration, phase 1 of our response plan. The silence in the chamber was complete. Council members stared at Elena with expressions of shock, fear, and growing respect. Whispered the council leader. "Trade secret," Elena replied. "But I will tell you this much. Human technology doesn't work like yours. We don't build logical systems that follow predictable patterns. We build chaotic systems that adapt and evolve." She picked up the data crystal from the podium. "You now have 167 hours to respond to our terms." Elena turned to leave, but stopped at the chamber entrance. "Oh, and Council Leader, the next demonstration won't be as gentle. Phase 2 involves your military fleets. Phase 3 involves your supply lines." As the humans left the chamber, Elena heard the frantic conversations beginning behind her. Several species were already demanding private meetings with human representatives. Others were calling for emergency sessions. Elena activated her communicator again. "Vasquez to Earth Command. The fish are in the net." The galaxy was about to learn that underestimating humans was a mistake species only made once. The Council made their choice in less than 12 hours. Rather than accept humanity's terms, they decided to crush the upstart species once and for all. The largest military fleet in galactic history began moving toward the Sol system. Admiral Torres watched the enemy fleet approach on her command screen. She stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, humanity's newest battleship. Around her, tactical officers worked quietly at their stations. "Admiral," reported Commander Jackson, "Council fleet composition confirmed. 2,400 vessels from 8 species." Torres asked. "None, ma'am." Torres nodded. The aliens had made their decision. Now they would learn what it cost to threaten humanity's home. Signal all ships. Across human space, hidden facilities activated systems the aliens had never seen before. Dr. Kim sat in a special chamber beneath Luna Base, connected to quantum interface equipment through neural links. Around her, 50 other humans prepared for the most important battle in galactic history. "Neural link stable," reported her technician. Kim closed her eyes and felt her consciousness expand beyond her body. Through the quantum networks that connected every alien ship, station, and planet, she could sense the vast communications web that held galactic civilization together. "Beginning infiltration," she whispered. Human consciousness, chaotic and unpredictable, poured into alien systems designed for logical, ordered thought. The networks couldn't filter out what they couldn't understand. Kim felt herself spreading through communication relays, navigation computers, and tactical systems. One by one, Council ships began experiencing problems. Navigation systems showed false readings. Communication arrays transmitted static. Weapon targeting computers calculated impossible solutions. "Admiral Torres," came a transmission from the lead Council ship. "What is happening to our fleet?" Torres smiled. "That's not a malfunction, Admiral." But the technical attack was only the beginning. As the alien fleet struggled with failing systems, human agents across the galaxy began Phase 2. On Corvan Prime, General Kortak was meeting with his War Council when the lights in his secure bunker went out. Emergency power activated, but instead of normal lighting, the walls displayed a human face. "General Kortak," said the image of a young human woman with short brown hair. "My name is Lieutenant Sarah Chen. I'm currently standing in your private office on the 78th floor of the Defense Ministry." The display changed to show Korthak's office. His personal safe was open. His family photos were arranged on his desk in a heart shape. A single red rose lay across his computer keyboard. "Your security is impressive," Lieutenant Chen continued. 47 checkpoints, DNA scanners, quantum locks. Unfortunately, human special forces don't think like your security designers do. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. On the crystalline homeworld, Counselor Shard 9 discovered humans in their sacred meditation chamber. On Zephyrian Station, Trade Director Zephyra found her private quarters filled with flowers arranged to spell out "surprise" in human writing. But the humans didn't attack anyone. They didn't steal anything. They didn't damage property. Instead, they left messages. "We know where you sleep," each message said. "We know where your children learn. We know where your families live. We could have ended you tonight, but we chose mercy." The psychological impact was devastating. Every council leader realized that humans could reach them anywhere, anytime. No security system could protect them from an enemy that didn't think like them. Meanwhile, the enforcement fleet found itself completely helpless. Ships drifted without navigation. Weapons wouldn't lock onto targets. Communications filled with false signals and confusing data. "This is Admiral Vorth of the Council Enforcement Fleet," came a desperate transmission to Admiral Torres. Torres replied calmly, "Admiral, we haven't fired a single weapon. Your ships are free to leave anytime they want." "No, Admiral. We've simply shown you that your ability to fight was always an illusion." As the alien fleet struggled with its disabled systems, Torres activated the final phase of the demonstration. Hidden platforms throughout the Sol system revealed themselves. What the aliens had thought were asteroids and space debris suddenly lit up with weapon signatures. "Admiral Vorth," Torres announced, "you are now surrounded by 300 automated defense platforms. Each one has enough firepower to destroy a capital ship." The alien ship's sensors finally detected the platforms. The readings were impossible to believe. Humans had turned their entire star system into a weapon. On the edge of the system, what looked like simple mining vessels began deploying fighter squadrons. Hundreds of small, fast ships emerged from cargo holds that had seemed too small to contain them. "Dimensional folding technology," Torres explained. "Each of our miners contains a squadron of fighters." Admiral Vorth's voice cracked with strain. "Impossible." "Your sensors detect what they're programmed to look for," Torres replied. "Human technology doesn't work like yours." The demonstration continued for exactly 24 hours. Council ships found themselves helpless, surrounded, and completely at human mercy. Their homeworlds learned that nowhere was truly safe from human reach. Their leaders discovered that no security system could protect them from human infiltration. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, everything returned to normal. Alien systems came back online. Human agents vanished from council worlds like ghosts. The defense platforms around Sol went back into hiding. A single human ship approached the disabled alien fleet. It was Ambassador Vasquez's diplomatic vessel, small and peaceful among the massive council warships. "This is Ambassador Vasquez to the council fleet," came her calm transmission. "The demonstration is complete." Admiral Torres contacted the alien fleet commander directly. "Admiral Vorth, you came here to destroy humanity. Instead, you've learned that humanity could have destroyed you at any moment during the past 50 years. We chose not to. You now have 96 hours to respond to our revised terms," Vasquez announced. The new terms were even more comprehensive than before. Humanity wasn't just demanding equality anymore. They were establishing themselves as the galaxy's dominant power. Admiral Vorth's fleet began the long journey home, their ships barely functional and their crews demoralized. Behind them, the Sol system returned to its peaceful appearance, hiding weapons that could destroy any fleet in the galaxy. The Council had tried to crush humanity with overwhelming force. Instead, they had proven that human power was beyond their understanding. The age of alien dominance was ending. The age of human leadership was about to begin. Within 24 hours of the failed attack on Sol, the first Council species surrendered. The Zephyrian Trade Union sent an official message to Earth requesting immediate peace negotiations. By the end of the week, 8 more species had followed. President Chen Wei sat in his office reading surrender documents. Each one was different, but they all said the same thing. The galaxy's most powerful species were admitting that humans were stronger. Mr. Ter, Chen asked. They're requesting a formal military alliance. Chen smiled. 6 months ago, these same species had been planning to control humanity like children. Now they were begging for human friendship. Ambassador Vasquez returned to Kepler Prime one final time. The council chamber looked very different now. Only 6 species remained in the council seats. The others had sent representatives, but they no longer claimed equal status. President Chen Wei of United Earth sends his greetings to the former Galactic Council, Vasquez announced. The council leader's golden tentacles moved nervously. Ambassador, we understand that humanity is now the dominant power. Of course, Vasquez replied. Cooperation has always been humanity's goal. The new government structure was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Instead of the rigid council system where older species dominated newer ones, the Senate operated on human principles. Every species had representation, but humans held executive authority over military and foreign policy decisions. The old system failed because it was based on fear and control, Vasquez explained to the assembled representatives. But the real changes weren't political. They were philosophical. For 1,000 years, galactic civilization had been built on the idea that progress meant conformity. Species were expected to abandon their unique traits and adopt standard galactic behavior. War was prevented by making everyone think the same way. Humans proved that approach was wrong. Dr. Kim stood before the Galactic Science Academy, explaining human quantum consciousness research to aliens who still couldn't understand how it worked. Your mistake was thinking chaos was the enemy of order, she said. Actually, chaos creates possibilities that order never could. Human unpredictability isn't a weakness to be corrected. The Academy had spent centuries trying to create perfect, predictable societies. Now they realized they had been limiting themselves. When every species thinks the same way, Kim continued, you get the same solutions to every problem. The evidence was overwhelming. In just 6 months under human leadership, the galaxy solved problems that had persisted for centuries. Trade disputes that had lasted decades were resolved in weeks. Resource conflicts that seemed impossible became manageable. Scientific discoveries accelerated at an incredible rate. The secret was human leadership style. Aliens made decisions through careful analysis and logical consensus. Humans made decisions through intuition, creativity, and controlled chaos. We don't plan everything, President Chen explained to a gathering of planetary governors. We set goals and let our people find their own ways to achieve them. But humanity's greatest achievement wasn't military or political. It was inspiring other species to rediscover their own uniqueness. The methane breathers of Titan gas had been forced to suppress their natural exploration instincts for 500 years. Under human protection, they began exploring again. Within months, they discovered 3 new star systems rich in rare elements. The Silicon Collective had been pressured to abandon their hive mind communication for more civilized individual thought. Humans encouraged them to use both systems. Their hybrid approach revolutionized galactic communications. The small folk of the forest worlds had been told their tribal societies were primitive. Humans recognized their sustainable development techniques as advanced environmental science. Every species has something unique to contribute, President Chen announced at the first Galactic Senate meeting. Our job isn't to make everyone the same. Not everyone was happy with the new order. Some aliens resented human authority, others feared human unpredictability. A few species attempted rebellion. The results were swift and decisive. Humans didn't respond with massive military force. Instead, they used precision and psychology. Rebel leaders found their supply lines disrupted, their communications compromised, and their movements predicted before they made them. "We don't want to rule through fear," Admiral Torres explained to a gathering of military leaders. The rebellions collapsed within weeks. Most rebels surrendered voluntarily once they realized they were fighting an enemy they couldn't understand or predict. A year after the failed attack on Sol, President Chen stood before the Galactic Senate to deliver the annual State of the Galaxy address. The chamber was fuller than it had ever been. Species that had never participated in galactic government now sent representatives. "1 year ago, you offered us a choice," Chen said, looking around the assembled delegates. "Accept control or face destruction." The statistics were impressive. Galactic trade had increased by 40%. Scientific discoveries were up 300%. Military conflicts had decreased to the lowest level in recorded history. "But numbers don't tell the real story," Chen continued. "The real story is about freedom. Freedom to be different. Freedom to explore new ideas." He paused and smiled. "A year ago, you thought humans needed to be controlled because we were dangerous. You were right about one thing. We are dangerous. We're dangerous to old ideas that don't work. We're dangerous to systems that prevent growth." The chamber erupted in applause. Not just polite diplomatic applause, but genuine enthusiasm from species who had discovered what it meant to be truly free. "But we're also protective," Chen added when the noise died down. "We protect those who can't protect themselves. We defend those who are threatened." As Chen concluded his speech, he made one final announcement that surprised even human representatives. "Effective immediately, any species in the galaxy can request human protection and Senate membership. We won't come to you. You have to choose to join us." The offer sparked a wave of new applications. Within a year, the Senate represented over 90% of galactic civilization, not through conquest or coercion, but through choice. The age of forced compliance was over. The age of voluntary cooperation had begun. And throughout the galaxy, species that had spent centuries suppressing their unique natures began to remember what made them special. Humanity had saved more than themselves. They had saved the galaxy's soul.